Alright, time for the third game pickups video. This will include a few different days because first I was in Tokyo, Akihabara, and bought a few games back on Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday. And then yesterday I was out buying some stuff. No, not yesterday, Friday. Including my new television, which is over there. I'm going to cut to it sometime. And which had a handle on the back, was really convenient. Still kind of a bitch to carry, which is everything that is even remotely heavy would get really annoying to carry in a while. But I'm going to just kind of bring all the games on the last week together into one video here, would make it much easier on you. So I'm going to start with a bunch of Super Famicom games, because I didn't buy any Famicom games this week. First is the only box I got, which is Es Onerae, Aim for the Ace, which has slightly bad artwork, I would say. It does look kind of weird. But it was like 500 yen. It's just a tennis game. I mean, I wouldn't really buy a box tennis game if... I heard stuff about this. It has like the court zooms in and out and scales all around, which is the interesting part of this game. 3D tennis game, as it says on the cover. So when it was just 500 yen, then I might as well take the box. Still, it's just a tennis game, so if I don't like it so much, I'll get rid of it probably. Anyway, the next one I did buy was a good puzzle game, Panel de Pon, aka Tetris Attack, I think, which stars Yoshi in the American version, but in the Japanese version it's girls. And I tried it yesterday. It's a good puzzle game. It's one of those where you can just trying it out, I sort of lost myself a bit, and it was like playing. Oh yeah, I need to go and try all my other games. But so yeah, a good puzzle game. Next is Super Bonk 2. It's Super Genjin 2, as they say. It's Super Bonk 2. The Super Bonk, the first seems a bit too much like a regular Bonk game. It's kind of like Adventure Island. Also, the second game seems to be better. So I saw a review of this once. It seems to be really wacky and stuff. Has a lot of things you can transform into. Seems like a good game. Then two games I'm going to combine because they are from the same series. Gambare Goemon 2 and 3. The only problem is that 2 doesn't work as of now. I didn't get it to work. But I haven't completely written it off yet, because I'm going to buy cleaning liquid stuff that I actually saw at a regular Yodobashi. I think it was Yodobashi, either that or BIC, but a big-ass regular department store in the game section. They actually did have cleaning liquid, including those tweezer things that are for retro games. So I'm going to buy that first and clean the game before I actually give a judgment on if it's broken or not. But otherwise, it's Goemon 2 and 3. I have the first game back in Sweden. And the Goemon games are a good time. So yeah, good. Then a game I definitely got at Super Potato, which I didn't buy. I think I only bought this game at Super Potato because Super Potato is pretty expensive, I now realize, after being there 3 years ago and then being at home ordering stuff from online and all that. It's somewhat expensive. At least anything boxed is way too expensive, especially Super Famicom games, because like over there you can get Chomai Kaimura and Super Ghouls and Ghosts for like 9,500 yen or something. When it's a random store here you find it and it's 3 or 4 or 5,000, so too expensive. But I did get this game, Cyborg 009, which is a platform game, action game. Looks kind of like Mega Man X or something. It doesn't control as well, but it's interesting. You get to you have your main character and 2 partners, and they all have, besides just shooting electricity from their gun, they have like each have a special power. Graphics are good, music's pretty good. yeah, it always seemed like a good game. I just never got around to buying it because it was always just slightly too expensive, even on eBay and stuff. So this was about half the regular normal eBay price. And then I found one more game that was the closest to a real catch that I've made so far in Japan, even though it turned out to not be that much cheaper than the eBay price on a single cartridge, unfortunately, which disappoints me. But anyway, I did find the game anyway, and it's more fun to find it in a store than on eBay. And that game is The Great Battle 5, starring SD versions of Gundam, Kamen Rider, and what was the other one again? Oh, Ultraman, yeah. And this blue-haired guy. The fifth game has like a mix of platform action and like wild guns things. It actually starts with one of those levels, and I just when I tried the game, I didn't figure it out, and I died because you have to like control your cursor and yourself at the same time, sort of, and it gets a little hectic, to say the least. But yeah, that game goes for quite a bit. In the box, it goes for way too much, but the cartridge, this was kind of like slightly more than half of the standard eBay price, I found out. I thought it was more though. But anyway, it's still a good catch. So I'm happy I found it, and then I will also try to find Great Battle 4, because it's sort of like a Mega Man X game. The only problem is that game has those big mech versus mech fights, which are really hard to figure out. But there is some kind of explanation online now. There wasn't but when I had the game last time, but there is now. So I'm gonna also try and find that game. But yeah, Great Battle 5. Now for a couple of things before I go on to a couple more games that aren't on Super Famicom. Actually, the last Super Famicom related thing is at one of these big department stores, I got a book, Cho Sufami. It's basically I was hoping it was going to be like a catalog of all the Super Famicom games, like the other book I have for Famicom. But it's basically a selection of important, I think, Super Famicom games that is kind of like articles about. So still could be interesting and good for practice. My other book I bought was at Super Potato. It's a guidebook for Mario 1, and this was cheap. A lot of the other guidebooks were too expensive. Like there was one for Ninja Gaiden 2, and I think it was like 6,000 yen or something. This was only 900 and something. So yeah, it's pretty short and sweet, but it does have maps with like locations of extra lives and stuff for all levels. So I think it was really good for the price. Plus, it's vintage. This is a guide for a game that came out in 1985, very close to my birth. So, これはすごい。こんなゲームブックは他にはない。There's no other book like this. This is awesome. Yeah, we'll see, but yeah. Then I bought 2 games from more current one, and one for console that I don't even have at the moment. But first, Dirge of Cerberus, Final Fantasy VII. This was like 200 yen, I think. So, and it came with this little. It's weird because it's basically just a manual. It's not like thick or anything. It's not a strategy guide, but it's just a manual. But it doesn't fit inside the actual case. Maybe this came in like a cardboard sleeve before or something. But anyway, Dirge of Cerberus, I actually did play it before. I find it to be entirely decent. It's Vincent's story at the time of Final Fantasy VII, after Final Fantasy VII. So it's sort of a sequel to Final Fantasy VII, which is cool. I still remember it's fun how the big bosses of the game are named stuff like Azul the Cerulean and Crimson the Red. And someone pointed out, and it's really funny, how Crimson means red, and Azul means blue in Spanish, I think. And Cerulean is like cerule something. That's also blue. So it's blue the blue and red the red, which I found pretty hilarious. It has some interesting design choices by Nomura-san. But yeah, it's I know also the Japanese version, maybe not the other ones. I know, but it's compatible with mouse and keyboard for PlayStation 2, which I will try if I can. And next, also a bit cheaper than I thought it was going to be, Super Mario 25 anniversary. It's Super Mario All Stars with a booklet and a music CD. I did buy this in Sweden at one point, but then I sold it and then it just shot up in price. No idea if the Japanese version is worth anything, but basically why I got this one is because here in the house that I live in, the share house, at the bottom floor, someone has a Wii. And I've been seeing it on evenings. People are playing New Super Mario Brothers Wii and having a good time and everything. So I thought I'm going to contribute with another game, and why not bring it back to the classics roots of Mario with being able to play Mario 1 and 3, because Super Mario 2 doesn't have multiplayer. And this still doesn't have Mario World, of course, which is one point of consternation from fans, because there was a cartridge, Super Mario All-Stars Plus World, so why not put that on there? But, it was a weird case with this game, just because when it was announced, everyone wanted it. We were like, oh, please, Nintendo, bring this to the United States and Europe, please. And then when it came, people were just like, oh, fuck you, it's too expensive, and it doesn't have Mario World, and it's just the blah 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 games on a disc, and blah 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 blah. So it's like, yeah, okay, but you wanted it so badly, and now when you get it, you just complain. But whatever. Those are the games for now. Now it's October 15th, and I don't have that much money left. I want to calm down now before I actually get my next student loan payout. So I'm gonna calm down with the games purchasing. Also, I'm not gonna show it, but I did get a power adapter for the Game Boy Advance now, and I got a cable, just a cable for PlayStation 2, just so I don't have. It was really cheap, just so I don't have to get another power adapter. But I still can't play PlayStation 2 because I did bring my component cable, and this television doesn't have component plugs, so I have to get a PS2 regular RCA cable, which annoyingly I had two back in Sweden. I didn't bring either one of them, so now I have to go and buy one of those. But I know they will be cheap. So anyway, game pickups video 3 終わります. Shuryo. It's done. Over. Finito. Or what the Norwegians call finitos. Quick addendum to my video. I know I said I was going to cool down on the buying stuff, but then I went out walking, went into a book off I haven't been to before, and bought 3 games. But they're really cheap. Come on, don't judge me. They were 250, and 500 yen, so really. None of them are really that great, but they're all... Well, let's get to the games. First, it's Panic Bomber W, which is Japan only. It's basically the Super Famicom version of Panic Bomber on the Virtual Boy, which is a good puzzle game, and with 2-player and everything. W actually stands for World, so Panic Bomber World. Well, I actually tried it, and then the first boss was from Jamaica, and then we went to England, and then I stopped playing. But anyway, Panic Bomber is a good puzzle game for 250 yen, really, really good. The other 250 yen game was Disney's Bonkers, the television show that nobody watched, and fewer people liked, but the game is decent. It's definitely nothing special, but it's made by Capcom, and it's like any other platformer, but decent enough. Third one is it was the most expensive one at 500 yen, and the most interesting in a way. It's Beauty and the Beast, or Bijou to Yaju, by Hudson, and it's a little bit more involved. You have a slash with your hand attack. You can pick up blocks and throw them. You can climb on certain walls. But the first stage does not give a great first impression because it's kind of frustrating. There are spiders drop down from the dark. It's really dark in general, and then you can only jump on certain walls that the game wants you to, and you have also a roar that I don't know exactly what it does right now, but apparently it's supposed to do all sorts of things, and spikes, and a little frustrating, but potentially pretty good. So yeah, 3 more games, but now I'm done. Okay, now I'm done.